How is it that our body acquires fat? In this video, we're gonna take a close look in a simple yet scientific manner at how the body's machinery works. By the end of this video, you will have a foundational mastery of metabolism. Hey, I'm Dr. Anna. I'm a medical doctor. I was trained in Italy, and I'm here to bring you all the information you need to master your health. So in order to answer the question of how our body acquires fat, we need to lay down two foundational concepts. So the first concept is the idea of calorie intake or calories coming in. Really simply, this is just the energy you're getting from food or beverages. And then we have the second concept, which is calories expended or calories out. And the concept of calories out is really formed from two different elements. And this is our basal metabolism and any activity that we do. So let's start with basal metabolism. Now, this is the trickier part because there's a lot of chemistry going on behind the scenes and it can be slightly different from one person to another. So here's the most simple way I can explain it to you. Our basal metabolism is all of the basic functioning that our body needs to do to stay alive and to function. You can think of this as all of the energy that the body needs to do the processing that does not require you knowing anything about it. Basically, this is the unconscious stuff going on underneath the surface. For example, we need a lot of energy from food to help maintain our body temperature. We need energy to help maintain our immune system. We need it to make hormones. We need it to help our muscles grow, to help maintain our organs with healthy, active cells. You get the idea. So this is all the stuff that needs to happen in order for you to be alive and thriving. Now, you might be wondering at this point, what causes our metabolism to be at the pace or at the rate that it is? Well, this is driven both by genetics and the types of fuel that you're actually introducing into your body. In other words, what you eat. Think of this as the quality of the fuel you're putting into your machine. Now, it may in fact surprise you that most of the calories we need to eat in a day are actually for our basal metabolism. It's not for working out and doing extra activities. It's for the basic functioning of life. This is why sometimes you'll hear people say things like, you even burn calories in your sleep. Well, of course, by being alive, you're burning calories because your body needs energy to be alive. Now, in terms of how basal metabolism works, this is a very complex subject. The entire subject of biochemistry is all talking about that. And this concept is trickier than it seems. I'm going to be honest with you. It actually took me years of studying biochemistry in my undergraduate degree when I studied nutrition and then in medical school to finally get this very foundational concept. It needed to click. And that is, where is metabolism happening? Ultimately, metabolism is happening inside of our cells. And then some of you might be hearing me and you're thinking to yourself, what are our cells? Are we talking about like cell biology? We are. In a nutshell, these are the basic building blocks of what make up your body. So I like to think of it as little grains of sand that make up a sand castle. You see the whole sand castle, but when it's broken down, it's really just a bunch of sand. And something that you fundamentally want to understand is that the healthier your cells are, the healthier your whole body is. And that just makes sense. And not only this, the healthier your cells are, the better your metabolism is going to work. Now be aware, there are many things that can mess up our metabolism. And a really big one is inflammation, which you may have heard something about. But know that there are a lot of things that can be done to help maintain a healthy metabolism. Now, we covered our first part of the calories out component, which was basal metabolism. And the second part is any form of activity. And I'm not just talking about physical activity like pumping iron at the gym or running a marathon or even riding a bike. I'm talking about any activity, even thinking, anything conscious, playing music, singing, you name it, driving. All of that requires energy. And the more we do, the more energy we're using. So now we have laid the groundwork for understanding the purpose of fueling our body and what the fuel ultimately is used for. So how then is fat accumulated? How does that play into the mix? So this part's actually quite simple. Any calories that are taken in that are not used for energy or for any metabolic function are stored away for later. And that storage form is fat. And the actual biochemistry of how that happens is extremely complex, and we're not going to go into that today. But if you are interested in learning more about that and taking a deeper dive, I want you to go ahead and comment below and let me know. I am so happy to talk about that stuff. It's pretty scientific and it can be a heavy subject, but it's one of my passions and I'm happy to make videos about that if it's what people are looking for. Okay, so we just talked about how fat is formed and how fat is accumulated. That now allows us to dive into how fat is lost or how weight loss occurs. So to answer this question, I'm going to introduce you to another simple concept. And this is the idea of calorie balance. So calorie balance, quite simply, is the difference between the calories taken in and the calories expended out. Now, generally speaking, if that balance is positive, then we're going to acquire more fat because we're storing extra energy away that we didn't need to use. And then if that balance is negative, then we're going to enter into a weight loss zone. We're spending more than we're taking in. And then overall, if we're interested in maintaining our weight, we want that calorie balance to be about zero. So we're taking in just as much energy as we need to spend for completing all of our activities and our basal metabolism. So just to reiterate, technically to lose weight, we need to create a calorie deficit. Simple, right? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Truth is, our body has several mechanisms to preserve our body's weight and to prevent weight loss from happening. And this happens because of something called the body's set point. Now, the set point can change when our body's weight changes. But what happens is our brain determines the calibration mark of where it's comfortable, and it can make changing that set point and changing your brain chemistry extremely difficult. Said another way, the body's set point is kind of like its preferred weight range. It doesn't want to go too low outside of that range, and the body will start to resist the change. And this is where the challenge lies. So our bodies are wired to defend against losing weight, and this makes sustaining weight loss so difficult for so many people. Unfortunately, the same is not true for gaining weight. Our body is very willing to acquire more fat. Remember the survival concept of hunters and gatherers? Our body thinks it's better to save up more energy for the future, since it doesn't guarantee when the next food is coming. And everything about how our body works and how anything in nature works is that it wants to survive. So even though our body is going to resist weight loss, it is really important to understand how this works in order to engage in effective weight management strategies. And now that we understand these foundational points, we're ready to turn over to thinking about when is the right time to start engaging in healthy weight loss. Check out part 4 over here, and I'll see you over there.